One of the ones trading higher, Eli Lilly, after the U.S. drug maker raised its full-year guidance as revenue from its weight loss and diabetes drugs beat expectations in the third quarter. Let's dive into these results with Evan Seigerman, Managing Director at BMO Capital Markets. Evan, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
What did Eli Lilly do right?
They continue to execute on selling both Mounjaro and, most importantly, Zepbound for diabetes and obesity, respectively. And actually, they had a successful Sec2Q, but it was overshadowed with orforglipron. Bottom line, they continue to dominate in this market well ahead of their competitor, Novo Nordisk, which also had some interesting news out today and putting in an unsolicited bid for Metsera, upping Pfizer's bid.
Any concerns in that market about the obesity drugs and the diabetes drugs? Is it getting flooded right now, or is there still lots of room?
I still think there's a lot of room. And what's really interesting about Lilly is that they are just focused on, servicing all areas of the market, from orforglipron, their small molecule that's going to be launched next year, to tirzepatide with Mounjaro and Zepbound, to even higher efficacy products that are, on the horizon. They're really focused on just doing their own thing, kind of not the competitive dynamics that Novo's, kind of perpetuating, different M&A. They're focused on ensuring access and making sure that they continue to grow the market.
And when you looked at the numbers, what are some of the numbers you liked the most? Or were there any that might have been giving you pause for thought?
No, I mean, listen, I think the fact that they beat on Zepbound, Mounjaro, that's what I want to see. And of course, the fact that they raise their earnings and revenue guidance, that means that they're confident into the back half of the year and that they really believe that their incretin franchise, that's the GLP-1s, will continue to accelerate versus Novo Nordisk that has been cutting guidance, right? We've really seen a bifurcation of these two. Novo reports next week, and I don't expect results quite as strong.
And any concerns coming up with the U.S. China relations, the tariffs, some of the things Trump has said over the last little while when it comes to drugs?
Not so much on China per se, but what we are waiting for is another Pfizer-like deal with potentially Lilly and Novo Nordisk. What we would like to see here is clarity on how the GLP-1s will be priced in Medicaid, potential access for GLP-1s for obesity in Medicare, and maybe to end to the compounded drugs that have been plaguing both Lilly and more specifically Novo Nordisk. But that's still TBD. Obviously, they're not going to comment on pending negotiations with the president.
Any idea when we expect something?
It's TBD. I'm assuming that they're active. I mean, it's President Trump. What do you expect here?
So it could be tomorrow, it could have been yesterday, and it could be 6 months from now.
Maybe not 6 months, hopefully closer to the end of the year, potentially.
And how about the rest of the sector? How are things looking?
So it's a really interesting time for the sector because the initial deals from Pfizer and AstraZeneca really gave some hope. But I think that now that we're focused on results, these companies continue to have to deliver. We've actually seen pretty good results for the companies that I have that have reported. A lot more next week focused on Pfizer, on Novo Nordisk, and of course, Gilead today. So there's more to come, but I think the sentiment and mood in my space seems a little better, but it's definitely cautious. We're not fully back to kind of that, great optimism that we had a couple of years ago.
Okay, and I have on my notes, I just wrote down metabolic franchises.
Yes.
Where did that come from in my notes? Metabolic, can you talk about that for a second?
So for sure. So basically this is what, this is Lilly's incretin business. So their diabetes products, their obesity products, the GLP-1s, that's what they call it. Their head of metabolic, it's what they call the franchise. So any metabolic disease, so think weight loss, MASH, fatty liver disease, and diabetes.
And that's what you're liking. They're looking strong there.
100%. Yes, you got it. Okay,
so I don't even need to ask you. You got an outperform rating and a price target of US 930 for them.
Yes, that's correct. So we like Lilly. We have a market perform on Novo Nordisk, other top picks in the space, Gilead, and we do like AbbVie as well.
And what do you like about those two?
We like Gilead because they're not in the obesity space. They have a long-acting prevention treatment for HIV, really strong growth of their core HIV business into the 2030s. On AbbVie, they are crushing it when it comes to their inflammation business, with Skyrizi and Rinvoq, and some strength in oncology. They don't have to do deals to be strong, but they have the capacity to do so.
Okay, Evan, thanks very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Evan Seigerman is Managing Director at BMO Capital Markets.